Welcome to the Daily Shift, to every day, pretty much between Monday and Friday here on YouTube, and sometimes streaming in other places. I come to you around 12:15 Central Time in order to give you some soul food, because we're told in the good book that we will prosper and be in health as our soul, which is our mind, will, and emotion prospers. So this is going to be part 4 of the series, manifesting things easier. If you have not seen parts 1 through 3, no worries. You can still get a lot out of this particular session, but go ahead. I just remembered that I forgot to put the third part link easier in description. I will go back after this and actually do it in the pinned comment to just make things easier for you, because I don't know about you, but I like easy. Yes. And for those of you who are still waiting for last week's notes, it was my birthday last week and I was like celebrating pretty much all week. I'm a little behind, but I will be catching up. And if you are one of those who loves notes, who loves to write things down, who loves to journal, then I'm creating notes out of this one. And if you want, you can go ahead and sign up for it down below as well. And then when I'm done with it by tomorrow, you will have that one, because I'm back in my task animal mode. So I hope you're all doing well. I'm so excited because more than half of the complimentary seats for my 10/10 event have already been snagged. So if you have not gotten yours, what are you waiting for, my darling? Because it's going to be good. We're going to be going over the 4 pillars of life and how you can activate your divine abundance around it. We're going to be talking about how to, have abundance in your relationships, in your business, in your career, in your body. It's going to be a little bit of workshopping as well. This is an amazing masterclass. It will be 55-55, but if you're catching this ahead of time, you can snag one of the complimentary seats. And so you want to go ahead and do that. The link for that is also down below. It's more than half, and we'll be closing that up tomorrow on Tuesday, September 26th. So if you're watching this after September 26th, then you want to then go to the updated link, which I will go ahead and put that in order for you to grab the seats, because right now I am currently sharing some tidbits to get you started and to prime the pump. This is part of it. This is part of priming the pump, is getting you ready for what you say that you want. And so we're going to be, I talked about, what did I release? I have other bonuses that I'm releasing as well. You have a private Telegram group, and I just released on how I manifested over $20,000 in sales, and the 10,000, the 5,000 months, and things like that, and the things that I did to manifest that. So if that's of interest to you, to increase your finances, then you'll want to get my bonuses, because my bonuses are just as good as the paid stuff. Does my free stuff work? 100%. The paid stuff just is think of it like a 10 times accelerator. If you want to go fast, then you want to connect with me. You can do that through the group or through one-on-one coaching, whatever floats your boat. But let's get started to part 4 of manifesting things easier. We have been talking about what I call the 4 pillars, or you can call them the 4 elements, and they are your subconscious, your conscious, your heart space, and your I am center, which is your sense of self and how you see yourself. And so today we are focusing on the heart space. What you know about the heart is not incorrect, it's incomplete. Some people call it the heart chakra. If you don't call it that, if that offends you, if that messes with your sensibilities, then don't call it that. Some of the people that follow me call it that, and I'm not wrapped up in some words. And if you are, words are powerful. So if you don't like that word, then don't use it. It's just as simple as that, my love. Don't get offended, because of being offended is also a heart issue. And that shuts off the flow. So you want to learn how to be unoffendable. And eventually you'll be offended, because we're human, right? But for the most part, you can decide if you're going to allow yourself to be offended or not, including what people call you, because you get to decide what you answer to. So if you don't like what they're calling you, then don't answer. That's for somebody. So let's get started with the heart space. What we know about the heart, like I said, is not incorrect, it is incomplete. And so with the heart, we're told in the good book that guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it are the issues, the boundaries, the limitations of your life. So if you're feeling like you're doing this cha-cha, you're going, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or you're able to create a breakthrough in your life and then not able to sustain it. This is one of the pillars of one of the reasons why what we know from secular science is that when your heart pumps, your physical heart goes boom boom, your body is sending out the secret signal. And every time your heart beats, it is sending out a signal. And a lot of secular scientists don't know what that is, what the good book tells us. It is those limitations, your own boundaries, whether you are aware of them or not, it is coming through that. And so the way that signal sends out, it is your most predominant belief system that is in union with your most predominant emotional state in that second. And things can shift from moment to moment. So why is that important for you to understand? Is because sometimes we are working on things and then wondering, why aren't things working? Why am I going 2 steps forward or step back? What's taking so long? We'll be talking about that as well. Why some things are taking so long that's being released. First in the Society of Sacred Alchemists, which is my paid group. And then some of that's going to be released as bonuses for the 10/10 event. Again, grab your seat today. Don't wait, because the seats are limited for the complimentary ones anyway. So when your heart is sending this out, where is it getting that information from? It is a combination of what we've already discussed, what's happening in your subconscious. Your subconscious, what you know about the subconscious is not incorrect, it's incomplete. It is like your automatic driver. And so how is your subconscious being impacted? One of the ways that it gets impacted is by repetition. So the repetition of what you are allowing to come through your eye gate and ear gate over and over again, that is one form of it. And then you have your gatekeeper, which is your conscious. Right now you're conscious and you're choosing to pay attention. This is we say that in the States, you're paying attention. This is an attention economy. And so you're paying it forward by paying attention to whatever it is that you're watching through your eye gate or hearing through your ear gate, but you're also paying me back by continuing to watch this as well, helping this message to get out into the algorithms so that other people can get it as well in your heart space. So then what is really your heart? Your heart is your manufacturing center. And so you are going to believe the words that come out of your mouth more than anyone else's. And this is why doing things like affirmations are so incredibly powerful. But you also have to know how to create affirmations, because let's say you're like, well, I want to be a multimillionaire, but your bank account says you're not even a thousandaire. Then you need to tweak your affirmation so that way you can bridge it, right? You can say something instead of like, every day I'm increasing more and more. Every day I'm getting closer and closer to my multi-million-dollar status. Every day I'm at the right place at the right time, doing the right things in the right order. See, words are containers of power. And when you speak your own words, this is also why when I do the EFTs, which is emotional freedom technique, also known as tapping, for those of you who are new to that, think of it like acupuncture without the needles, because you're using your fingertips. And so I say, repeat after me. Why? Because yes, with my own faith and superpowers of manifestation, while you're in my presence, if you stick yourself in neutral, I can help you get there, or we can combine our frequencies and our energy, and then you'll be propelled faster. But what's going to happen when you're not around me? Right? You need the tools. So because your heart is the manufacturing center, what does it do? Think about, we're made out of dirt for a reason. So because you're made from dirt, right? Your words are seeds, they're containers of power. You're saying it out of your mouth, and words matter because they become matter. And this is something that a lot of people don't really understand, or in the moment they might mentally assent to it, or you might agree with me right now, but then on the other side of this, you're not watching or auditing your words. And so the words that you speak, they're activating that reality. They're activating that. Think of it like if you want to call it like a parallel universe, an alternate reality, the quantum field, the spirit world, whatever it is that's really going to help you make sense of it, because you want to make sure to use languaging that allows you to understand what's happening. Your words are containers of power. Think of them like seeds. So they come out of your mouth, they go into your inner ear, and it recycles. It goes to your subconscious, your conscious, into your I am center, back into your heart space. So it's doing this beautiful cycle that works, that's working by default. And doing these things, you do them by design. So how do you get your manufacturing center? If you don't like what's happening in your life, you just plant a new seed. The seed is the word. It's your words. And so this is very simple, but it's not easy to do because we have created a lot of negative languaging. And when you are shifting and trying to manifest certain things, I talked about this, I think, last week. Well, we are, there's something I released last week, because I released it to the society and then to the 1010 event group, was about, Queen, you're going to have what you say. So if you haven't seen that, you can watch that. It's also in this particular playlist in the podcast. So go ahead and watch that as well. But we are going to have what we say. And when you are not, if you're just saying anything, then when you start to do certain manifestation practices, it might take you a while before you start to see evidence that what you have been doing is working. And the reason for that is you might have been speaking negatively or thinking negatively for a very long time. So yes, you can quantum jump, absolutely. But what you don't want to do is really get into this habit of depending on quantum jumping every single time. That's like depending on a miracle every single time. Are you going to wait until you're in crisis? There's a better way to live. Not that you can't have those things, because it helps to quicken things. But if you start to do these small things, again, I talked about this a few weeks ago, the compound effect. Your words, because they're either filled with life or filled with death, your words are going out and then they boomerang back to you. The words that you say with intention will come to pass. It is spiritual law. The greatest light worker who ever lived said that as well. You shall have whatever you say. It's what you believe that you're saying, which what we will call your words of intention. Now, because your words are containers of power, there's another spiritual law that you will then be responsible for every idle word that you said. What does that mean? That it's null, it's voiding, it has no effect. So if you are mixing your energy field, right? Because now you're sending out words, everything has frequency, everything has a vibration, everything is moving. And even your negative words have a lower vibration, a lower frequency, right? That's why it's like, oh, I want to be high vibe. There's a lot of truth to that. You do want to be high vibe. You do want to, yes, be practical and use wisdom and use some common sense. But you do want to also then add into this the accelerator, which is these manifestation practices. If you are mixing your language, you're mixing different chemicals, right? So you have something, think of it like waves, right? So here's the thing that you want, it's coming, and now you're starting to say negative things and think negative things. And when the waves, before they collapse, quantum physics, when the waves collapse and comes in and manifest into this 3D world, you either flatline it because you're mixing the different things with your mouth, and therefore mixing your actions. It is all connected. If you want a different harvest, plant different seed, and your words are the seed. That is what you plant. As you do that, death and life are in the power of your tongue, and you will eat the fruit of it. You get to decide if you're inviting life or you're inviting death. Death is the lack, the poverty, the delays. Some things are divine delays and other things are not. So how can you tell? Fruit. Time is also a great revealer. And you can tell a lot what's going on because of how you are picking it up and how you're dealing with it, your own perceptions. But we'll talk about that another day because I'm running out of time already. Trying to keep these under 20 minutes, mostly under 15, but today the goal is under 20. So what are you saying? Because that's going back into your heart space. That's going back into your manufacturing center. A lot of people like to fast who are spiritual or call themselves spiritual or religious or whatever you want to label yourself. And they're like, well, I want to fast because I want to break these things off of me. It is not fasting from food that actually breaks the chains. People misread the good book. When they read it in context, it's actually the fast of stinking thinking, of not aligning your words correctly. If you want to break the chains or the oppression or the circumstances in your life that will not move yet or seem to be not moving, then the challenge is audit your speech. Maybe you do need to fast. And as I said, some people feel encouraged or moved to fast social media. It's not just social media. It's the music. It's the television shows, right? It's everything that's going through your eye gates and ear gates. Most importantly, what's coming out of your mouth. Because you can think it, but they say thoughts become things. That's also not true. Thoughts internalize, materialize, because eventually it comes out of your mouth. That's why we're told in the good book, out of the abundance of your heart, your mouth will speak. It is not what goes into your mouth that matters. It's what goes out of it. That is what keeps you actually healthy. That's what actually justifies you. Where you get condemned is what's coming out of your mouth, because eventually what you're imagining, what you're saying, you will do. You are going to do it. It is going to happen. It is spiritual law. And if you want something different, then you need to do something different, right? What you're currently doing is not working, or you wouldn't be watching. But this is how you can change it. Is it simple? Yes. Is it easy to do? No. Because we have a lot of negative language, right? Like, my feet are killing me. Are they? Are they really? I don't think so. But we excuse it and say that it's just an idiom. Yes, it is. But if you want to get to the point where you are living on purpose, again, by design, the fullness of the juiciness of this, that being able to have whatsoever you say when you believe what you're saying, then depending on your own focus is the level of fruit and harvest you're going to get back. Because you are getting a harvest. You are. But you get to decide and take your power back. This is why when I do the EFTs, it helps you to release those negative thoughts, because as we're doing them, things come up. Your subconscious is unlocked. And it says, oh, by the way, this is a negative thought that maybe you thought that you have to work on. And it helps you to release it and to anchor in something new. You have been made in the image and likeness of God, which means that you have been created to function like God. And God never does anything without saying it first. And he always speaks the end from the beginning. He speaks what he expects. Are you talking about the problem, or are you only speaking your desire, the outcome, what you're expecting to come to pass, because you know it's already yours? And this is why, again, that I am allowing or providing for you guys for a limited time, for the next 24, 36 hours or so, complimentary seats for the 10-10 event. I'm already starting to put things in there, including creating these things for those who are finding it on YouTube and Facebook. Seeding it, preparing you for what you say you want. How bad do you want it? Will you at least give yourself the gift of time by grabbing a complimentary seat? And if you're too late, end up paying for it, so you can watch the replay whenever you want. And creating that time for yourself, because it It's a given. It is a perfect equation. You will prosper and be in health as your soul, your mind, your will, and your emotions prosper. If you're trying to do things by their sheer will, you can hustle into that, but you're not going to be able to maintain it because your will is not the gatekeeper. The mind is. The will allows you to create momentum. It helps you to get things going, but you cannot sustain it with that. That's why you also can't sustain things with your emotions, because it's energy and motion. You can't be happy 1 second and pissed off the next if somebody cuts you off in traffic. You can't count on your emotions. It's only a tool. But you can feed your mind, which will then empower your will, which will then influence your emotions to stay at this higher vibration. But it all starts with your words, what you're feeding your heart space. Your heart is going to produce whatever seed you put in it. Whatever you put in it. And this is why we do things to undo some of the things that people have said. Words are powerful. Everyone who's an adult is probably dealing with something that someone said to them when they were younger, when they were a young adult. Even in, I'm, just finished my 49th year. I'm in year 50. Things that happen, I have a lot of friends who are divorced or going through a divorce, and those words that were said were hurtful. Hi, Cynthia. How are you, my love? Words matter. And we can't say, well, words don't matter, actions do. The actions are the fruit. Yes, words matter. And this is why we're still healing from that. Because if words didn't matter, then it doesn't matter what anybody says to you. You will be completely unoffendable. But we're not yet. We're working on it. How much do you want what you say you want? Will you challenge yourself to order your words? You'll be surprised what's coming out of your mouth. And now end with this. For those of you who like the Golden Girls, there's this one episode with Dorothy, and she's the one who's super negative, right? Hypercritical thinker, which is not a bad thing, but she turns it against herself often. And consequently, then there's a lot of negative things coming out of her mouth. And there's this episode where she goes with Rose, and they're like seminar, and then they're talking about thinking positively. Just kind of start jotting down the negative things that you're thinking. And then like the next scene, she's like, "Oh, I wrote this all down." And she's like, "I didn't realize how negative I was." And everybody else is like, "Yeah, duh." She started to share some of the things that she said. And then she's like, "This is just page 1." In 24 hours, she had pages of things that were negative. It's funny, but you'll be surprised that when you do an audit, like you're walking around just like with a little notebook that you can get from the Dollar Tree and jotting down every negative thought. You're like, wow. You'll be surprised, because then what happens is that you get hyper focused and you're like, oh, wait, where did that thought come from? And you can do something about it. The thoughts don't become things until they're internalized and they start to be spoken. You're activating that reality. Your thoughts is an entryway. This is why we're told in the good book to capture them. You may not be able to help the things that you think. They're coming from external influences and internal influences. But you can choose what you're going to do with that seed. You can abort it by choosing not to entertain it. You can abort it by choosing not to say it. How many relationships can flourish if people would just zip it? Or decide to use their creator to speak life and edification and the truth and love to bring people up And then when they have to bring correction because they have, you know, the connection and the relationship to speak into that person's life, that it does them good. Your manufacturing center, your heart space, is impacted by words you hear, and especially by your own words that you say. Your words are seeds, creative power in them. If I was going to touch you today and said, from this moment forward, every word you say shall manifest, how would that change then your vocabulary? On my side, I'm seeing some glitching, so that's like energy interference. It's important. If I was going to touch you today and I said, from this moment forward, by the laying on of my hands, everything you say is going to manifest, how would that change your vocabulary? Because it's happening anyway. Sometimes you're not seeing it because it takes sometimes a long time before you get the harvest. But if you start to think about the things that are continually manifesting in your life, how often have you said it? That it's so ingrained in you is now a belief system. And now your subconscious, your automatic driver, is just continually bringing you to those situations to make you right. You can take your power back by giving yourself the gift of time and giving yourself the gift of an audit and honesty. If you need help with that, grab your complimentary seat, because I'm going to help you to unlock your divine abundance in the 4 pillars of life. And until next time, which will be very, very soon, I love you very much. I'm so happy that you're here. And I'll see you tomorrow at 12:15 Central Time when we do another shift to help you get to where you are, to where you want to be. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to push this out into the algorithm. Bye.